drop about a 50-pound weight on your chest, and you don't know what to do. This is called a panic attack. It's a sign of a generalized anxiety disorder, or better known as GAD. Referring to the survey, almost all of you have had some type of panic attack or some type of anxiety. So you know that it's scary and sometimes you need help. As students, you know how school can cause you stress. But for an individual with GAD, school can be so much harder because GAD victims overthink everything. Michael F. Gelato from Philadelphia Veterans Affairs Medical Center stated anxiety disorders such as GAD, panic disorders, and social phobia are the most prevalent psychiatric disorders in the U.S. For you to better understand the everyday struggles of having anxiety, I'm going to explain the symptoms of GAD using the HELP method, which stands for headaches, uneasiness, lack of confidence, and persistent worrying. The first letter of the HELP method is H. It stands for headaches. Headaches are one of the key symptoms to look for when you're looking for GAD. According to Anxiety and Depressing Association of America, many studies found that people with GAD and panic disorder in particular experience migraines or other types of headaches. My sister, Carrie Stahl, is 23 years old. In 2012, she was diagnosed with GAD. Her headaches are what triggered the doctors to look more into it. Every single day around noon, she would get a migraine. We didn't know if it was because of stress or what. She was in high school, so you're stressed all the time. So we didn't know if it was just stress, but my mom was like, maybe we should get it checked out just in case. So they went to the doctor and got it checked out. They said everything was fine on the inside, but then the doctor started asking her, are you anxious? Do you sleep? And that's when it started to roll into place that she had anxiety. The second letter is E. It stands for uneasiness. There is never a time that patients go by with their life feeling completely fine and that everything is okay. Taking from my personal experience, I was diagnosed with GAD in 2015. I had just gone through a nasty breakup and I wasn't eating and I never felt at ease. My roommate realized that I wasn't eating, even though I didn't even think anything of it. She told me that I probably should get checked out since I wasn't eating at all and that I wasn't the same person that I usually was. So I did, and that's when I was diagnosed with GAD. The third letter is L, for lack of confidence. GAD patients have the constant fear of people judging them. They feel like their life is falling apart and that they have no control over it. For example, Ella Nicholson, who was a victim of GAD, stated, "It was a long process with many setbacks, but as I worked with a counselor and psychologist, and slowly began to recoup my strength, and I became determined to get my life back." Amy Persworski, professional at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, states individuals inherit a predisposition to being an anxious person, and about 30 to 40% of the variable is related to genetic factors. So yes, GAD is usually hereditary, but it can come later in life. In Nicholson's case, she was diagnosed right after her mother had an accidental death and her husband was laid off. You can either be born with GAD and later in life it'll just come and affect you, or something can happen that just makes you have an emotional breakdown. The last letter is P. It's for persistent worrying. This is the most important symptom that you need to look for, and is the most common. Whenever you think about anxiety, the first word is either panic or worry. People with GAD, worrying is the most, it's over everything, the littlest thing. It gets so bad that it affects your everyday tasks. So the whole saying, spilled milk, don't cry over spilled milk? It can happen. It's happened to me. If you spill anything, littlest things, you can just break. For Holly Kammer, she suffered with GAD for 2 decades before telling anyone. She was so worried that what other people would think and what if they would judge her. Looking back on my personal experience and the other stories, it is clear that GAD is a serious mental disease and that you should never be afraid for asking for help. If you remember the simple help method, then you'll know what to look for and you can help your friends and family and maybe yourself. As students and humans, we are always going to have a time in our lives that we will be anxious. Just remember the most important thing you can do during your anxious times. Just breathe. Thank you.